Did you look at Slim?
Oh,
Yeah, you.
I got my phone out and then it distracted me because I looked at Katie's pictures instead and I forgot what I was there for.
Oh, the peacock.
No, she sent me a bunch of other pictures too.
Hmm.
Like flowers and shit. I told her I'm gonna make thumbnails out of them, put talking to famous people on them. Wow, that guy's great. I
Isn't
want,
he like
I want to know this
molesty?
gentleman. Yeah, I want to meet. I want to meet him. I want to sit down. I want to have a burger with this guy. All right. Now listen, Eric. I've been around the block a few times. My name's Slim Whitman, and I want to talk to you about the broads. Okay? You got to be careful. They're gonna always try to get pregnant so they can trap you into marriage. Like that's an opinion this guy has, right?
Yeah, he's the same guy that he's like telling you about this great opportunity for you, or this girl that he's going to sell you, or this whatever you want. And he's also the same guy that knows anybody you bring up that you don't know. He knows all the important people, always has forever. But he tries to slide onto your bar tab.
Right. I like to imagine him having a strange fetish for having met Lee Iacocca once. I might have told you about how I met Lee Iacocca. He was the
You got to
chairman
go
of
closer to
General
the
Motors.
microphone.
Sorry. Okay. Um,
I
let's
kind
make.
of have microphone envy. I never gave a shit until like tonight.
What kind of microphone? What?
I have microphone envy.
Oh. Well, this AKG is pretty good. It's $200 mic, which is not cheap, but like in the same case were the $6,000 Neumann mics, which no matter how rich I get, I will never buy a $6,000 microphone. I don't think. I'd have to be really rich. It seems it can't be that cannot be that much better.
Seems abusive.
Just because made in Germany doesn't mean it needs to cost $6,000.
At that
Yeah.
point, they just
W.
chalk it up to style.
The one I was looking at too, you know what it was for? It was for overhead drum miking. That's how specific its purpose was. That's the you've got your mic on the kick, you got your mic on the snare, you got your mic on the cymbals and the hi hats or the crash or whatever, and you've got your ambient overhead mic. It's a thick $6,000 mic to just pick up the ambient room mix of the drums, which you will then mix like lower than the other mics you have in the mix.
He's really going for a niche market there.
Okay, so it's for record production then.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but I record a lot of music. I don't even think you need to mic drums like that. You don't need to mic drums with four mics. You need, I
But you're
think,
not a record label.
that's true. I guess if I had infinite supplies and shit, I probably would have like 70 mics on everything. I don't know, but it just seems unnecessary, right? Do you really need that many mics to mic drum set? I don't think so.
What you really need is about two $200 mics in every room, and then a handful outside, so that you can go and do your shit and not be trapped.
Is that ice cream, yogurt, or cottage cheese? Are you pouring Adderall into your cottage cheese?
No, I said I
That
was
sounds like a
all
great
the-
idea. I'm gonna try
I was
that.
like, I was like, are you enjoying the Ben and Jerry's Rocky Road morphine flavor?
All three ENTPs just lit up.
Adderall and cottage cheese? That sounds great.
What is that bottle of happiness?
Yeah.
Hey, here's something. What about different types being prone to I don't know, addiction or just substance use? What about that? Because I smoke, and I see these two other ENTPs here smoke.
I think every ENTP I've ever even heard of smokes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I've never heard of an ENTP that doesn't smoke.
I don't know what it is. Well, I do.
I think your extroverted perceivers in the dominant function are the ones who are most likely to have substance problems. And if you're a SE instead of any, or an SI, not SI so much, but even SI though, like my friend Dave, SI Dom, he doesn't drink anymore either. He had to quit alcohol too. It's a very SI thing, alcohol, you know? If you have it in the dominant slot, it depends. If you have it in the fourth slot, it's like, this will help me with my SI. But the thing is, if you're any in the Dom, if you're any Dom, you want uppers. If you're NI down, you want downers. If you're SE Dom, you want alcohol.
That's really a blanket statement or a blanket truth.
I don't think it is true for everyone or anything. I'm saying that this is probably how the correlations play. All right.
You're saying if you're an NI Dom, you're looking for downers?
I think NI Doms. Well, actually, that's not
'Cause
true.
I never drink, but I have way too much caffeine in my system. Every time I get it.
All right. Everyone does alcohol. It's hard to say about alcohol because everybody does alcohol. I guess it's not really a downer anyway.
I am the downer. I don't need any more. I need uppers.
Maybe it's
I don't like psychedelics.
I think there's some truth to host Ken.
I think N's maybe want uppers and psychedelics. S's want downers and alcohol. I mean, everybody wants alcohol, but I would say if I were going to come up with a general rule, that sounds like it makes sense. Does it actually make sense? Hard to say, but it sounds like it does.
It makes sense to Eric, and because he's the loudest and most argumentative, it sounds right, because there's not enough rebuttal.
When you say someone is more of anything than me, it becomes a competition. I'm going to get loud as fuck.
Well,
You can't be logical. Loud.
See, I had the opposite response, Taylor. My response was, that's not why I'm winning those arguments.
I know, because you were on the opposite side of the statement. We both got boxed in somewhere.
Right. What did you say, Lightbulb?
Yeah. Huh?
Said if you can't win with logic, just be the loudest.
It's a
And
technique.
that is what we almost got into an argument.
I think being the loudest is half of the ENTP method.
If I get into a debate with someone, which happens a little too often if you ask me, I don't realize that I get so loud, and then they chalk it up to me just being loud, not making sense. When I'm still making good points, in my opinion. Like,
You
great
can't
point.
finish the logic beatdown if they won't let you finish the logic thought.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I know what you're saying, so I
Cut
just
down. I'm too loud over here.
I only get loud and agitated under one of two circumstances. Number one, they made their point. I've answered it. And then, in response, they've made a new point.
Yes.
They've not
I
answered
do.
my point, and they've not answered my response. They've come up with a new point. I say,
When I go back on that, and then they try and give me another point, I just then I'm gone. Then I'm done. I
Right.
can't handle that anymore.
and if you want to see me snap at somebody and fucking do something I'm going to regret, that's going to make it happen. I have asked you 4 times to address this point. I've answered every one of your points. And again, you come up with a new point and you ignore my points and don't answer me. Ooh.
I've gotten, hey, you just keep defeating my points. I'm like, you know.
Riffing off of something Taylor said the other night when we were talking about TE, I was saying something like, I want somebody to explain the point. And he was like, no, you don't. You don't want them to explain the point. You want them to not be able to explain the point because you already have your mind made up on what grand
That's
shit
exactly.
is.
Because, and what they're describing, I didn't want to like call it out, but that's a totally SJ response, is to get your point corrected and then posture to a new point without addressing it, because it doesn't matter what logical absurdity you're proposing, you've decided it.
Right.
Right, but I'm not an SJ. And I'm
Look, it is very Taylor. It's very important that we find the reason why I'm right. Okay, whichever one you're okay with, it's very important that you like the reason why I'm right too. That's the
Right.
idea, right? I do care about you a lot. I want you to like the reason why I'm right.
We're
Here-
debating and interacting on this plane where logic is a thing, but it's not affecting the motivation at all.
It's not valued ultimately, and it's why INFPs why they can be very competitive and successful intellectually in zero-sum competition for fun kind of activities, but they usually don't apply it in life because it leads to too much conflict and they think it's definitely not worth it. Look, whatever it is you're saying and thinking, if it leads to two people not being happy with each other, it's a bad idea. That's INFP's take on it, and so that's why even though they're super smart and have good TI, even though it's in a weird spot for them, but it doesn't matter because they are never going to value that over the other shit. So
What about ISFPs?
ISFPs are totally different than INFPs. They're completely different. What was the topic here? Oh yeah, argumentation stuff is what I want to say. Here's the thing though. Depending on the nature of the argument, I engage in a lot of these sort of casual, fun stuff, kind of arguments. So I might yell at somebody on talking Facebook or whatever. If I were going into a serious matter, though, for example, when I went to go talk to the principal at Temple City High School to fight with her about letting my debaters compete how I want them to be allowed to compete, not how she wants them to be allowed to compete, right? You can be damn sure I never raised my voice above this level or so. Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Miss, but
You hit
you
them with
are
just like fucking the arrow of truth, just
I
straight
said,
through the bullshit.
well, okay, but you see, you're a steward of a community resource here, and you ought to, I think we both agree, be advocating on behalf of the students, and yet you're putting in a great deal of effort resisting the solutions I propose. Why is that? Right? I'm not going to yell at her for 1 second. I just got to frame shit.
I've got a thought that
She hated me.
if it has to be something quiet like that, I feel like I would think it out a whole lot more than if I was to get into a debate. I would be thinking maybe the same stuff, but a whole lot quicker.
Right. I went into that with a bit of a plan. I mean, not really a plan, but I knew which grounds I could shift to, and which grounds I wasn't ever going to touch. Right.
But
Yes.
I don't know if you guys are the same way, but with me, if I'm having a confrontation and I get quiet and deliberate like that, we're not planning.
Right. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
If we're not playing anymore, I'm not going to be yelling. And
Yeah.
and every
I have
single
to yell.
word, every single word you say, you better be really careful, because you
Yeah.
have no idea what that very banal looking thing is a trap, and that there are three possible answers you're going to give, and if you give this one or that one, you're fucked. You're fucking fucked. So you better pick the right one. You don't know any of that. The question doesn't seem like it has any of that weight to it, but it's there, and so is every other fucking question I'm asking. And so then later on, when she says something, I reference what she answered an earlier question, right? I go, now, earlier you indicated that you weren't familiar with the league at all. So are you saying you didn't do any research into whether there was an inclusive league that didn't discriminate against these students? You didn't do any due diligence at all? Okay, good to note. Good to note is an excellent sentence, right? You're not saying what you're going to do with the information.
I don't like using that because it's too overt. I think just the question, just leaving the question hanging, is enough implied threat, especially if you give them the pissed
I
off
can see
ENTP.
the point. You're right. I did say good to note because she was upset at that point. She was upset. I don't know why. This probably isn't why, but it's true anyway. She was upset at that point. I didn't think she was really reading the subtext anymore, but she was at first. She thought she was winning the subtext at first because
Okay, so
she
people that
assumed.
can't read the subtext, I stop using subtext altogether, and I just go straight into what it is.
Right. She wasn't in. She's an N, this principal. Probably an NT. But she's I mean their basic problem was very simple. She's trying to stop my debaters from competing. There's no good coming from that. There's all bad coming from that. And it's worst of all, it's in my way.
It's an abuse of her power. It's not in her student's best interest. It's not doing her job. She's using her position of authority for a personal vendetta. That's in your way. Coincidentally.
It's not a personal vendetta. It's easier to provide the normal resistance that school administrators provide, which isn't an answer. It's like, well, have you checked to see if the protocols listed in this thing have all been fulfilled? Okay, you have. Okay, great. So now you're going to need to find an advisor to sign on to this. Well, and the principal did this too. The kids were like, see, the thing is, the strategy I had would work totally. She didn't know when I went in there. I actually don't want a solution that involves me. So when she dropped the big bomb on me that there's no possible way it could be me that is involved in this solution because of these our very simplicity rules, basically because she fucking hates me, I said, okay, well, I just came here to help make your job a little easier. That doesn't make the problem go away. I'd be thrilled with any solution that does make the problem go away. What are you going to do about it? It's like she thought that if she made me go away, the problem would go away. But in reality, it's the other way around. The only way she's going to make me go away is to make the problem go away. And that means she needs to solve it. And the only reason it hasn't already been solved is because I am doing this according to the stipulations and expectations of Edmund and his mom and Anoop and his mom and stuff like that. The moms are a lot more cautious than me. If they let me do it my way, it would already be solved.
Speaking of school administrators, he's talking about school administrators. You just emailed a school administrator, didn't you?
I was on a school administrator?
Yeah.
Well, no,
She wrote the best email to this incompetent school administrator here.
Did she? Did it sound like you?
It was the most thought out, tactically accurate response ever to come out of an ISFP.
And so, what did the school administrator respond to your email?
The school administrator's response wasn't even in proper grammar. It was kind of like, nah, no.
It was humana, 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 humana.
I didn't do that. I didn't know.
All right. The thing about public school administrators in general.
That's the problem, though. It still didn't address the problem. It just denied the accusations, pointed to past examples of shitty examples of how and and then just abruptly stopped.
Examples of nuh-uh is a good album name. Good album title, I think. So yeah, school administrators, the problem with them, of course, is their primary interest and goal is to persist in a status quo that doesn't require them to do anything else. In their defense, they are tasked with way too much fucking shit. They've got to be there from 7 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, all week, and on the weekends.
She's not there till 8 o'clock at night. She's not there till 8 o'clock at night.
How old's your kid? I'm talking about high school.
Okay.
High school principals are they have a lot on their plate.
I've got 12 more years of being a pain in the ass dad in front of me.
You're gonna love it. It's great fun. Because
I'm already annoyed that I have to redefine excused absences for them.
remember, don't be annoyed. Think of it as you are shifting their paradigms. They have not encountered a parent teaching them anything before about how to interact with other human beings fairly. They have not challenged any of their internalized belief that it is okay to lock a bunch of kids in a room and make them stay there all fucking day. By what crazy insanity have we devised a system that says children, it's okay with children to keep them locked in one place, force them to work, and not pay them anything? And everyone just goes, well, of course, they're learning things. It's okay. Well, I learn things all the time at work. It doesn't mean the parents can't pay me to teach their kids.
Common Core is even worse. They've got, my first grader has been sitting in a classroom actually doing shit. When I was in kindergarten and first grade, all you had to do was not punch somebody, not shit your pants, and peel most of the glue off of your arms when it dried.
Well, but
My 6-year-old can read.
look, I get that parents ought to have some say over what goes on with their kids and stuff, and
I
and
don't
their
get
kids
all
don't.
off
The kids shouldn't be able to just choose to do whatever it wants to all the time. But
Well, you're still discovering shit at that age. You don't
You
need
ever
to
heard of
have
Sudbury
crap
schools?
crammed down your throat. Like, train a monkey.
Tim, what did you say?
Have you guys ever heard of
At that
Sudbury
age, at that
schools?
age, you're still exploring the environment. It's too early to have shit crammed down your throat for 8 hours a day and then puked back up on Fridays.
Right.
Billy,
Okay.
right.
Tim, what's the submarine thing you're talking about? Tell us about it.
It's SUDBURY. It's even in one school they implemented some in an elementary school. They took kind of the Sudbury concept of the kid gets to decide what they want to do, wherein if these kids act it out, and this is a school where the bad kids go. Like if you get expelled, you go to this school.
An alternative school?
You acted out in this new school, whatever you call it. They would put you in this room, and instead of strict no silence, no talking, you would silently meditate. These kids would be willing to silently meditate, and the expulsion rate went down at that school from something like 50% to 0% in not a long time at all. These Sudbury schools, they allow the kids, even I believe through middle school, to structure their day how they feel. As long as they do one task a day, like organize something or help someone out. It's something like that. It's like 2 things a day they kind of have to do. But other than that, it's like if you feel that playing a video game will be beneficial to you in the long run, then by all means, pop in Super Mario Brothers.
See,
Bada
that's
bing,
not
bada
what I'm
boom.
talking about, though. That's not what I'm talking about.
It's
I
not
do agree. I
for
agree
actually
that
a
more
real
choice
solution,
is good. Choice
School
is
now
good.
just teaches form.
But look, here's the thing. The way to educate, I think, is to, instead of educating them, actualize them. Actualize them in their work. Say, I'm not going to teach you to write. You're going to write another blog post today for your blog, which you've monetized as a first grader. Now, I know most of you guys have almost no revenue. Don't worry. You're building a body of work.
So replace schooling with life coaches, basically.
You learn through
Yeah.
your errors. Just have them do it.
Yeah, why shouldn't you be a project manager? That's what I am in debate. I'm not a teacher. I don't give any grades. I don't give any homework. Right?
Have you ever seen statistics? Oh, sorry to interrupt. On homeschooled kids, when they go into school, they do 50% better than the other kids, and these are all over. Statistics all over in high school, and I believe it's because parents like you, Eric, who have the structure to teach their kids correctly.
Most homeschool kids, though, their parents wanted to learn that the answer is always Jesus.
Well, you're right about that.
Citing me.
Who the fuck was yelling? That's not why I was homeschooled. But yeah, I got a lot of detentions.
At homeschool?
No, I got no detentions at homeschool.
I got detention in homeschool again. I gotta stay home. I gotta stay home in my room. Okay, the thing is this. I think that we try to find what a child, and I don't even want to refer to him as that, what a small human being wants to do, right? Now, I'm not saying that kids are developed enough to be capable of adult level of consent, which is what's required to make all these decisions yourself. What I am saying is they are developed enough to express, and we are developed enough to hear them when they tell us what kind of shit they actually like and what kind of shit they don't like. Whereas most parents go spend the first part of their child's childhood telling their child what they like and what they don't like, and what's good and what's not good, and what's important and what's not important. It needs to be the other way around. If we let the child tell us what's important to the child, what stuff they feel like they're good at, what stuff they like, and we're aware as adults, oh, that he's expressing, I don't like this, but that's fear. I have to face that all the time in debate, right? This kid says they don't like debate, but I know they don't know anything about debate at all. They're new. They don't know what they say they don't like. They have some stupid fucking, I've been living under a rock for 50 years notion of what debate is. It's like, I want your sandwich. No, I want my sandwich. There, it's a debate. That's what they think it is. I don't like that. I don't like disagreeing with people. Sit down and shut the fuck up. Now, you're going to just have to be, now look, until you are a full human being, which means you learn to tell me to sit down and shut the fuck up, then you need to sit down and shut the fuck up. I will teach you to yell at me and tell me to sit down and shut the fuck up. And when you're there, grasshopper, then I no longer have to yell at you ever again. Right? Because then you own your own shit. If you don't want to do it, no skin on my back. You're here because you're a debater. Almost always, they either leave or they become hardcore.
That doesn't mean. Do you not remember the little meme I sent that you saw?
I know.
Do it this way.
You need to be able to confront people, or else you're not a whole person, is what he was saying.
I can confront people.
No, I'm not saying you need to be able to confront people, Taylor. I'm saying
Freak out and run around in circles.
I do not.
I'm saying that you need to buck the internalized obedience, because that's what they're training us to do in all those years of school, right? What are you mostly being trained to do? Well, if you try to name any one thing, it's always not a good description, except for one thing. You're being trained to obey.
I'd frame
To train
permalink.
kids in subjugation because that's what society's based around.
Say it again.
You have to train kids in subjugation. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is what's positioned as socialization, namely, let's all be cooperative as a group together, is not socialization because the group's not democratic. It is instead dictatorial. It's authoritarian.
It's structure orientation. It's training. It's like a dog obedience school kind of. You do this, then you do this, then you do this. Everybody else does this and this and this. You do this and this and this.
It's like a dog obedience school that's attended by a bunch of different species of animals, and then the dog obedience school goes, "Wow, you animals are such great animals," and it always turns out to be the dogs, right? And you animals are terrible, and it's the parrots. They're like, "Well, because we can't fucking fetch. It's not what we don't want to fetch. We don't want to fetch. We want to learn how to say Polly wants a cracker." And you never once talked about that. Not one time in school you told us how to say Polly wants a cracker. All it's always like, you run after the ball, you go get it, you bring it back over here.
I would have probably turned out very differently if at any point during my school years somebody had just been like, "Hey, who wants to take a car apart and see what it looks like on the inside?"
Go take a car apart then.
But here's the thing.
It was never suggested when you're like 12. I don't know. I wasn't
I want to bring back those Sudbury schools. Their whole thing is that you can
You're not
do
too old.
something until you become enlightened. You can do something until you become enlightened about what you really want to do. So if you think that something's going to benefit you and lead you to do something bigger and better, then by all means do it. That's the whole thing. If some guy says, "Let's take a car,"
why must the thing you're doing now be unreal? And that's what this training model says. Oh, they're training. And what you're saying, well, you do something until you become enlightened enough to know, blah, blah, blah. Why can't what you're doing right now be real? Why is it, is this a practice video? Am I enlightened enough finally to make a video? Did it take me these 2,000 practice videos before I became enlightened enough to make a video? No. The first horrible, shitty practice video I ever made was a real video. It is monetized. It might have made a penny. I don't know. It's a real penny if it made one.
Let's go to the fact that you became enlightened to do that before you did it in the first place. Does that make sense?
Why are you accusing me of enlightenment? You do not accuse me of enlightenment, sir. I refuse to be accused of enlightenment. I was not enlightened then. I am not enlightened now. And I take a shit on the whole notion of enlightenment. I don't like it. I'll go with actualization a little bit. I like the idea. At least you're moving towards something concrete. Enlightenment is a metaphysical claim of status. And you know what I say to metaphysical claims of status? I say,
what?
Boo, 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 boo.
Okay, then boo, 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 boo. Why? Tell me, why did you start your YouTube channel? Now I'm very curious.
Well, originally, the short answer is I wanted attention and affirmation.
Well, okay.
And I received it eventually, a long time after I started it, after I accepted that I was never going to get any.
Here it is.
But no, that's not my enlightenment causing it to occur. It's the process of a slow building up according to a mathematical curve as per YouTube subscriber rates and a certain amount of improvement in the video making process. The fact that I have in the process of making a lot of videos and accomplishing certain goals that I didn't expressly set, but that I here in retrospect acknowledge I must have had, does not mean that the enlightenment caused the thing to occur, nor does it prove that I was, am, or ever will be enlightened.
Enlightenment is just a dead idea. You get so good that you can just stagnate.
Now, Tim, if you're going to respond, don't go into hair splitting. You got to come at this unique now, because he's...
And he also got to YouTube-ness in a different... By flooding shit. I mean, this is the most videos per watcher, per subscriber, I think, ever.
Right. It's a terrible ratio, right? It's like, some people are like...
By the fire. They can sort it out themselves.
It's debatable.
Some people will go, by the time I made 100, I made 100 videos. Well, how many subscribers do you have? 10,000. You know, it's like with me, I got 2,500 videos and 1,140 subscribers. So.
Right, but I mean, that's perfect for me because if one starts off slow, after about 30 seconds, I can go to the next one.
I find my own viewing habits are weird. I will watch some videos multiple times, most videos not at all, and some video, like if I do that, I count that as a not at all. If I watch, but yeah. So I mean, it's weird. I think that level of detachment is desirable, and I think it's something that people, if they want to aspire to some sort of metaphysical thing, ought to aspire to being detached from their completed projects, because that hamstrings people all the time. I think it's my opinion. That one I'm fine with saying just my opinion.
In quickly searching synonyms for enlightenment, I found cultivation. Now, if I totally erase everything that I said, which is impossible, but pretend
No, it's
I
fine.
can do
Go
that.
ahead. Hey, it's fine. This is a debate round. You can say, I kicked those arguments. I kicked those. Scratch them from the flow. Let's start over. Go.
They're gone.
Planning and doing it at the same time.
They're gone. Cultivate. So if you cultivate a passion, if you find your passion, you're not enlightened about any bullshit. You cultivate it. That's what you did. I find
I
value.
like that idea a lot better.
And also, when it comes to passion, I think it's important to make the distinction that, in my mind, I think sometimes people can get confused between finding your passion as being a starting point or something that you arrive at. And I think sometimes people are waiting around to sort of find their passion, and it's something that
Brilliantly put.
it's a
I
process.
agree. Yeah.
It's right on the money. It's like the energy exerted trying to determine what you want to do ought to be exerted doing something. And then
Yeah.
you'll find out whether you like it or not.
Like collecting those tin cans for 50 cents.
Yeah, it served her well. You know, I mean,
She did not serve well. She did not make any money. She wasted time.
Taylor, she didn't need more money, and she's way less neurotic than either you or me. So
Whatever you
Almost
say.
everyone needs money.
that's the advantage of the SI, right? SI
Everyone
doms
needs.
are.
If she's not
I'm not-
neurotic, it's because she's got blinders on.
That's true.
Source.
I'm not
Anybody who's
disputing the why. I'm not disputing the why. I am still saying she does have on her side of the flow the positive impacts of not being neurotic.
I think it's funny how
Does she
with
become
the
neurotic if
examples
she-
of
Can you go?
ENTPs
Can go.
With the examples of the ENTPs we have here, I think it's funny how if you're not paying attention to it, you can easily become way more worrywarts than an ISFJ would. Which is who I typically think of as the worry.
Yeah, but
warts.
I mean, we're concerned about it.
They have blinders on. They're not paying attention to the
Taylor's not
natural
worried
order of
about
things,
them.
and it's like,
He's
oh,
condemning them.
He's doing
We're not
it again.
paralyzed by it either. We see it, we acknowledge it, and we move on, skipping through hell. I mean, you know, whatever. It doesn't need to be safe and padded.
don't be dramatic.
I don't need a padded room.
But I love the fact that you interpreted Taylor's behavior not so much as ENTP whatever, but as what did you say again? I've lost my train of thought.
Basically, I was interpreting it as the flip side, like ISFJ thing. How ISFJs, when they're kind of bad off,
Yeah,
they'll be
that's
more
not
worried.
worry. That's called That's called dismissal. I am dismissing that thing that I disapprove of.
We will not get cancer. We are all dismissing cancer. Every ENTP I know dismisses lung cancer.
Oh,
Screw it.
I happen to have
Myth.
100% certainty proof that I am immune to lung cancer.
Show me the evidence.
Okay. It's inside my lungs.
As much as I absolutely doubt
I have
every
a badge.
bit of it.
There's a badge inside my lungs. It says, it's a new variety of lung. It says on there, cancer proof. If they weren't cancer proof, then they're highly cancer resistant. I don't even know. I can't even imagine all the various things I've smoked, right? All the fiendy times I've smoked out of some
We could have a tip for that on that
some
one.
plastic pipe or something because I have nothing else. I'm fiending. This is like a long time ago, right? And so you smoke in, you get like half dirty street speed and half plastic makeshift pipe in your lungs. You hold it as long as you can because after all, you got to get all the speed out of it. And my lungs are fine. And not only are they fine, when I went and had them checked out by the doctor, my lung capacity is much better than most non-smokers. Why is that?
Like INFJ just said,
Because you're exercising.
optimism. Sorry, go ahead.
It might be optimism, or it might be that my lungs' little sign is telling the truth.
I have one too. Then I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, yeah, they only passed out a few of them. Taylor, you and me both got them. I went to the library and checked the public records. Turns out you and me both got those special lungs, so we're good to go.
Is that why I keep getting those past due notices?
What kind of bevy of treasure trove of video things is this tonight? All these people who've been here many times, I've never seen them. All of a sudden, they are living human beings before me. That's crazy.
This is my first time here, you know.
Is it? I know you haven't been around very much because if you have experienced a certain amount of our argumentation type videos and stuff like that, you'd probably be arguing along certain different paths, I would suspect. Just because, it's like, as the ENTP, Tim, you are in a dangerous spot right now. You know that, right? Because you're young, you're an ENTP, you probably have kicked all kinds of ass with your same age peers. You roll in here wanting to assert dominance, but every time you even tickle at it, I smack you down to the ground. And you got no chance. It's had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that I got fucking 30 years on you or whatever, 20 years. And so I've got a lot more practice doing it. You got no chance over old ENTP who's still just as combative as he was when he was 16 years old.
Do you
I still
think
want to
that I
scrap
did not
those.
come here?
We don't get less combative.
Wait, let Tim talk. Let Tim respond. Go, Tim.
You think that I did not come here for betterment? Because if you do, then you are wrong.
I am wrong. I didn't think that, but I'm wrong anyway because I can see now that you did not come here to fight, but to make friends. And I appreciate that. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this.
I think as someone who does not have a personal interest in the success of the channel any more than I would be bummed out if it went away, I'm in a position of power because I have the least to lose. ENTPs.
But
And-
I feel like I have a sense of you. I mean, I know how unpredictable we are, right? But
it's kind of predictable. There are certain guidelines in place.
right.
It can't be
No.
bullshit. It can't be bullshit. No,
Right.
it's
I
the
have to
universal
give you a
ENTP.
reason first, Taylor. I got to give you a reason.
Right. Don't fuck with me. I won't fuck with you. You know.
Right. Yeah, I understand how it works. Don't worry. I have no.
Reason.
I'd like to think I don't give anybody a reason, right? I don't think I give anybody a reason. I try to be fair in dealing with everybody, and sometimes I'm a dick.
Well, people
but
think our sort of fairness is unfair, and that's unfair.
You may come to find that the way that my thinking pattern changes goes the direction you think it might go.
well, as an ENTP,
But probably not.
you've got endless forks in front of you, especially at this age, right? At this age, You're all about potentialities. Eric's biggest critic. You look like a college professor garb. You got the haircut, you got the jacket, you got the black shirt. I'm ready to learn about Beowulf. Is that what we're learning today?
Yep. V-neck. I second that.
So what you got going on, Barry? Talk to us. Oh, he doesn't have a microphone.
Are you
Probably does have a microphone.
Are you in academia?
But he's probably an actual INTP, so he's like, I'll just type.
I bet he's a student. Maybe.
He's waiting for a good topic. What's that supposed to mean?
It means he's waiting for a good topic, I think.
All right, Ken.
Oh,
Skin
I was gonna send some dick pics. I have these dick pics.
Taylor, you fucking better not, dude. Do not send me any dick pics, all right?
I don't plan on actually doing it, but god damn it.
Peacock pics.
But I was genuinely tripped out by that, and talked to a few different people about it. Like, it can't be this. It cannot possibly be the case that this behavior is so common that on a Tinder page, a woman needs to instruct anyone who might come by, don't send me a picture of your penis. How? I mean, does it happen all the time or what? It's like, oh, I like you. Hey.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, it does happen.
Yeah, there's nothing like just getting on your
It's
Facebook
horrible.
and just boom, right there.
Why don't
Really?
they give it?
And it's not like mine is on Snapchat.
Oh, I don't
That's
have Snapchat.
I'm not on Tinder or anything like that. But on Snapchat, like random people will add me and then I'll get a message and I'll open it up and it's disgusting.
Where are the vagina pictures coming from? Where's that
Ew.
market?
I haven't received any, but
I don't think I've really ever. I've received maybe 2 unsolicited vaginas in my life.
I don't think I want to receive any vagina pictures either. I don't want to receive vagina pictures either. Okay.
Okay.
Genital time is reserved for
Oh, you're so disgustingly above us, Eric.
No, look,
you know
I
what? You're just
Ken,
so
I
freaking
am
enlightened right
absolutely not enlightened. I am telling you
This
this:
kid's got vaginas all over the fucking parameter of his screen.
genitals should be reserved for that 7-minute block of time.
7.
No shit, dude.
now. Katie's like pointing to Taylor, like, you mean 30 seconds?
It does include all the foreplay, including the. So, did we have sex?
7
What?
minutes?
It's a joke, guys. Come on. It's actually not a joke. It's sort of a joke, but you know. It's just
Ha 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 ha.
Maybe if you practice more, then it'll be real.
Oh, who said that?
Eric's
guys
like,
gonna
all
get
right,
more
let's get this over with.
Who said that to me? Was that?
You're gonna get 20 minutes.
Huh?
Actually, I have a question,
Light bulb.
Eric. How
Okay.
did your daughter ever get conceived? Because I have it in my mind that after like 15 seconds, you would have gotten distracted and walked away and started working on something else.
No, I almost always follow through an initiated sexual project through all the way to completion. I can usually see the light at the end of the tunnel. Anyway, the point.
That being drunk doesn't help. Sometimes if you're drunk, you just get.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. I forget about those years. I don't think of them as being part of my life almost, because.
They're part of your life. I was surprised that you forgot about them. There is certainly a point where it's like,
You
I'm
give up.
sorry. This is wasting my time, girl.
Right. Well, and the thing is, I could usually tell early on in the process. I just say, again, never mind.
No. I think that we were getting somewhere.
You kind of go back and forth. Well, actually, maybe. I think, forget it. It's never gonna happen. We're gonna finish this. This project is dragging on forever.
My eyes burned.
Okay. So, but that's not. Well, I want to wrap this episode up. What is this episode about?
I think that deserves its own topic. Drunk
All right.
sex.
Okay, well, look, guys. The thing is, this is my last video of the
How long
moment.
do you have to bet on you?
Anyway, last video of right now. So I'm gonna call this one to a close. Thank you for watching. I'm not sure what this one is about. I'm gonna upload all these videos right now, and I'll publish them all just sort of like in 6-hour intervals. Probably I'll schedule them in 6 hours out. So
I got a video to put up, but
all right.
I just gotta edit the dang thing.
So TWFP viewing audience, keep a sharp eye out for that Ken video. It's coming too, and I hear it's a real doozy. Thanks for watching. Talk with those people, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.